So the information I'm about to share with you, when I first saw it, I was shocked. So check this chart out. In 2019, they asked men, are you facing discrimination in society? Now the numbers based on age fall about where the researchers thought they would. But get this, just 4 years later, they did the same study and look at what happened. Now with the older guys, the number went slightly down by 2 points. With the millennials, it went up 5 points, not an insignificant amount. But look at the shift for men aged 18 to 29. This is a huge shift with an increase of over 30%. And in fact, the details of the study paint the picture even worse. 1 in 4 Gen Z men are saying they've been mistreated simply for being a man. In fact, for a lot of young men, they believe the modern woke ideology that they see being pushed by the media, well, it's morphed from promoting equality and instead is just punishing men. In fact, half of men agree with the statement, these days society seems to punish men just for acting like men. So faced with this conundrum, what's a modern man to do? Well, for a lot of young modern men, they are embracing classic masculinity. Despite what some media outlets may say, I don't think that's a bad thing if done correctly. But still, what in particular makes classic masculinity so attractive? And why is it a great thing despite the fact that some people fear we're taking a step back? Well, gents, the answer to those questions and more, that's the subject of today's video. So before we go any farther, let's first define what is classic masculinity. Now for me, classic masculinity is a set of values, traits, and behaviors traditionally associated with being a man. In fact, this concept is deeply rooted in both historical and cultural context, and it reflects qualities that have been revered across time. First up, we have strength and resilience, both physical strength and mental toughness. Now, classic masculinity is all about physical strength, and this is something a lot of modern men love. They spend a lot of time in the gym, but it's not about the muscles. When it comes to physical strength, it's about what you can do with that body. Can you endure pain, perhaps as a distance runner? Do you have the strength to fulfill your role as a provider and a protector? And let's not forget mental toughness, equally important. The ability to face challenges head on, to be composed under pressure. Classic masculinity prizes your ability to be calm in crisis, to be able to make tough decisions, and to be able to keep moving forward despite all the hits, everything you're taking. The next key aspect of classic masculinity is responsibility and duty. Under classic masculinity, men are expected to take ownership of their actions. They're reliable and they fulfill their obligations. And for those under your care, those under your watch, you provide safety, you protect them. Next up, we've got honor. We've got integrity. This is your own internal code that includes keeping your word, acting with fairness. And in classic masculinity, you're expected to stick with this, especially when times are tough. Whenever the easy path is to do what others are doing, but that's when living by your principles is key. It's what defines you. Now, today's video, gents, is sponsored by Factor. Now, gents, I've been working with Factor a few years now, and what I love about them is that Factor makes meeting my nutrition goals easy. Seriously, delivered right to my door, I get fresh, nutritious, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals to help you feel your best all day long. Now, I'm a busy guy, and what I love about Factor is they take the stress out of meal planning and meal prep. Now, gents, as you can see here, Factor just takes 2 minutes to heat up, boom, right in the microwave. Put your food on a nice plate like this, dive in, and within minutes you can get back to your day. But honestly, guys, be careful. This stuff is delicious, yes. And if you want snack options, Factor got you covered there. They've got you covered with breakfast, smoothies, juices, small bites, and more to fit into your busy schedule. And let's face it, gents, when you're eating takeout, it's expensive. Factor is cheaper than takeout. Seriously, gents, use that link, go over to factor75.com, and using our special code right here, you're gonna save 50% off your first box from Factor. On top of that, your next month is gonna be 20% off. So use that link in the description, get the best deal on the web. Now, gents, being straight, that definition was important because you see so many people out there calling masculinity in all its forms toxic. Well, I straight up disagree with that, and I really think a lot of these people don't have the same definition that I have. Because in many ways, I do agree with them. Toxic behavior is toxic, but it's not masculinity. I mean, let's face it, we know guys like this. They're tough guys, but they're complete assholes. They may be a man, but they're not my representation of masculinity. And then we've got other people that feel that classic masculinity is somehow going to stop social progress. Now, I don't have time nor the desire in this video to go into talking about gender equality, gender fluidity. All I'm going to say is a society that has more men looking to improve themselves in the definition I just gave for classic masculinity, gents, I can't see that as a bad thing and in no way impedes social progress. In fact, I think more young men embracing classic masculinity is a great thing because through it, many of them are finding purpose. Yeah, you've seen it. Maybe you've even felt it. A lot of younger guys, they are directionless. Part of classic masculinity, developing your physical self, your mental self, is seeking out challenge that defines and builds you as a person. In many ways, for most practitioners of this is how they build and find themselves. And the emphasis on responsibility, this is a great thing, especially in a victim mindset society where so many people want to blame everyone but themselves. I'll tell you, one of the tough parts about classic masculinity, at least for me, is that you have to look inward and you have to realize, okay, I didn't get what I went after. I wasn't focused. I didn't put enough effort. And yes, I know there are outside forces. But when you take ownership, when you take responsibility, you take back the power to actually make the change to improve your life. And that right there, it's life-changing. Classic masculinity also presses self-reliance. Now, I don't believe in being a lone wolf. I do believe we live in communities, that it's important you've got friends, you've got family, you've got people around you that you can assist and that you can get help from. But to be prepared, to be able to run independently at times when you need to, that is a classic trait of classic masculinity and one that I love seeing young men build. And speaking of families, I love how classic masculinity is all about the family structure. And when it comes to classic masculinity, what I see it emphasizes is that you need to have a family. And if you got a non-traditional family that still got your back, that's great. Because let's face it, some of you guys got buddies, you got friends that might as well be your brother, might as well be your family, because these guys, they'll bury a body if needed. And those are the kind of guys you want to have in your foxhole. So having said all of that, why do modern men crave classic masculinity? Well, first up, the psychological appeal. Classic masculinity in many ways provides a sense of identity. It provides a sense of purpose. Let's face it, for a lot of guys, they live in a world in which everything is up in the air. Everything's up for grabs. It is a breath of fresh air to have a way of living that not only is grounded in history, but also has a track record of working. And yeah, it's not perfect, but when you look at the course of human history, you start to see masculinity as being a pretty solid structure for living a good life. In an unpredictable world, classic masculinity, with its clear expectation, provides clear direction in a directionless world. Right with that, there's the uncomfortable fact a lot of modern men are very insecure. And I don't mean that in a bad way. They have just lived lives jumping from point to point. Many of them have grown up without a father or any semblance of a family. As mentioned earlier, they've never known stability. So the idea that as a man, there's a set of rules, a guideline, again, that has historical context, that's worked many times in the past, at least to live a decent life. Well, heck, that seems like pretty good odds. And turning to classic masculinity is a simple way to cope with the insecurities of life. And again, my thoughts, if you've defined it correctly and if you use it in the right way, this blueprint can actually lead to a very good life. So, not a bad thing. The next reason why modern men are turning to classic masculinity is that it's a role many of us feel a man was born to fill. Now, the media has created the issue of the false dilemma. So false dilemmas are a logical fallacy. It's when you're talking to somebody and they say, oh, you've only got two choices, when in reality, you've got an infinite number of choices. I mean, anyone that's watched the news, TikTok, YouTube, again and again, we see personalities, influencers, media like me. Actually, I try to be unbiased, but can't help it. In any case, they're trying to rile up your emotions and they're trying to say that you have to do this or you have to do that. And for most of us, we don't fit into either one of those choices. We're a unique human being that thinks for ourselves and we actually have a different path we'd like to go on. And so when we're being told by the woke media that if we don't agree with this particular definition or with what they're saying here, obviously we are a misogynist. Yeah, it hurts a little, and oftentimes it pushes us to the other side. Who, to be fair, we may not 100% agree with, but you know what? They're not blaming us because we were born men. So yeah, the influence of media, the influence of social media, and how it's created this divide of opinion, and so it becomes harder and harder to be in the middle. Compare that to classic masculinity, where men can slip right into a role that they were born to fulfill. To be honest, for a lot of guys, it's easy and it just feels right. And for some guys, classic masculinity is a straight up rejection of woke ideology. It's a way to reclaim their identity and assert their individuality. Agree, disagree? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed today's video, keep watching. I got another great video for you right here. Check it out. Oh yeah, you're going to love this one. Check it out, guys. The raw reality of being a man nowadays. Probably one of the best videos I've ever made on this channel, so go check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. That's it. Take care, guys.